Every quarter, Tesla releases accident data from its fleet of cars and includes statistics for miles driven on Autopilot and miles driven by the user. It then compares those numbers to the NHTSA's aggregate. So based on this data, Teslas are safer, right? No. Tesla reported that in Q4 2019, Teslas engaged in Autopilot were involved in an accident once every 3.07 million miles on average. Now, according to Tesla, the NHTSA reports one crash every 479,000 miles for the U.S. average. This includes all cars and trucks in the U.S. I assume Tesla got to this number by taking the total vehicle miles traveled in the U.S., 3.2 trillion, and dividing it by the number of accidents reported to the police, 6.5 million. When doing this calculation, I get about 490,000, which is right in line with Tesla's reporting. Now, why does the NHTSA only have data from 2017? Beats the hell out of me. But here's the problem. This isn't enough information for us to be definitive. See, I'm a pharmacist by training, and in school we took insane statistics classes. As a healthcare professional, you have to be skilled at knowing when a clinical trial for a new drug is game-changing and when it's total bullshit. Drug companies will skew their data to make medicine look better than it actually is. You have to be able to sift through their garbage and actually determine what the data is telling you. And this is why I'm skeptical when it comes to Tesla's reporting. So in this video, I'm going to outline the problems I have with Tesla's data and how they report it. Number 1, we don't know if these numbers are statistically significant. In statistics, there's something called statistical significance. Basically, you have to run a test to see if the data holds up under scrutiny. Tesla did not publish any such test. So is this data relevant or just a blip? Let me give you an example. Let's say you're trying to measure who is taller on average, an American or a Canadian, and you go out and measure 10 Americans and 10 Canadians. You find the average American is 1.2 inches taller than the average Canadian. Does this data prove that Americans are taller? No. There are 364 million people living in these two countries. A sample size of 10 each is absolutely asinine. You need more data, but imagine going on a website and claiming that Americans are taller by 1.2 inches, according to your findings. Number 2, Autopilot only works on highways. Autopilot is only fully functional on the highways. It doesn't respond to stop signs or stoplights. Yet, anyway. Highway driving is easier than city driving. There are just fewer variables. Keep it in between the lines and don't hit the car in front of you. Relatively simple compared to the chaotic nature of downtown urban cores. You can't compare all highway miles in a Tesla to the combined highway city miles in the U.S. average. Highways also have a higher speed than city streets, which means you can rack up more miles on the highway in less time. This skews the data. Number 3, Teslas cost more. The cheapest Tesla costs around $40,000 and goes up to $100,000. According to the KBB, the average price of a new car is around $37,000, which is less than Tesla. I don't know the average price of a Tesla sold, but given the range, it must be higher. This skews the data. Number 4, Teslas are newer. Teslas are newer cars. The Model S came out in 2012. So the oldest Teslas, excluding the Roadster, are only 8 years old. Compare that to the U.S. average of 11.6. The oldest Teslas are younger than the U.S. average. This skews the data. Number 5, Tesla owners are different from the average. This one is probably going to spark some controversy, but it's a major factor. The average Tesla owner is wealthier than the average American. These are expensive cars. If you're richer than average, then you dominate seemingly every statistic in healthcare. You tend to have a better diet, exercise more, have less stress, have better housing conditions, live in quieter and cleaner areas, and live longer. Do you honestly think that a wealthy, white, upper-middle-class American has the same driver statistics as the antithesis? No. Honestly, I didn't even bother to look this one up. It plays out so many times across healthcare, it has become a punchline. It's really sad, but it's also really true. Give these Teslas to the disadvantaged, and the accident rate will change. I guarantee it. Number 6. Teslas are sold in different parts of the country. California is a Tesla haven, while the middle of the country is Gas City, baby. Teslas simply drive in different areas of the country than the national average. Does California have safer roads? Does the weather play a factor? Hell, the distance to the equator could make a difference. In winter, there is less sunlight, which could increase accident rates. The fact that people don't talk about this disappoints the mathematical part of my soul. This skews the data. Number 7. People disengage autopilot during high-risk situations. Let's say you see a tricky situation ahead, like construction, pedestrians, or detours. What would you do? Wait and see if autopilot is going to wreck your $47,000 baby named Mad at Gas car? Or are you going to preemptively intervene and ensure its safety? And yours. Once you intervene, those miles no longer count for autopilot, and those are the trickiest, most complex, most high-risk miles for the system. Let autopilot go on its own, and those numbers would be very different. Now, that being said, the accident rate for non-autopilot miles is still much less than the average American driver. So maybe this isn't a major factor, but it does change the data between autopilot and non-autopilot miles driven. Number 8, how Tesla reports the numbers. Tesla chose to report miles driven per accident. Is this a coincidence? No. They could have reported fatalities, injuries, or a whole host of other safety statistics, but they specifically chose to report this one. They are going to paint their cars in the most positive light possible. Every business does this with their products. This doesn't skew the data, but it omits part of the story. Drug companies do this all the time. So what does all this mean? That Tesla is a liar and a fraud? No, I don't think so. In fact, based on what I know about the company, I believe that Teslas are the safest cars on the road, from an accident avoidance point of view and from a collision point of view. And autopilot and full self-driving have such promise that I have invested in the company with my own hard-earned money. The point of this video is that even if you believe in a company and its mission, you still need to evaluate their statements critically. You have a brain. Use it. So in summary, I would consider Tesla's reporting on autopilot to be incomplete. I want more specific data regarding autopilot use, who uses it and when, demographics of Tesla owners, more robust statistics than literally the mean, and more third-party data and evaluation. My conclusion: is autopilot safer than a regular driver? Well, it appears to be so, but we technically don't know for sure.